think it's my honor and pleasure to work together, and your ambition and your follow-up and persistence that makes those successful events. And I'm quite sure that you'll be always leading those very active contributions in the community, and together with your team and the team in the council, I'm sure that this will be very helpful for promoting the mental health services and awareness in the community nationwide. Thank you very much for the kind introduction, and thanks for all colleagues who are attending with us. And I hope that will not be that boring for you. I'll do my best to be short and brief, and I'll be very happy if we have questions, and I'll be answering those questions. Definitely, when I thought about this topic, I spoke to Dr. Nahida, and she encouraged me to talk about resilience. And actually, resilience is not related only to the current situation, but it's a life long process that we might have in our mind all through our life. We start our life in early struggling to coping with all the events that we have, and by time we develop resilience. So we'll start to have this. Firstly, all of us, we have difficult times and difficult events that we have through our life. And how the people are dealing with those difficult events, definitely we have losses in our life, like losing some of the loved ones, or loss of a job, or serious illnesses. There might be somewhere some traumatic events. God save us and save Emirates from any terrorist attacks. And but these are examples of what are the really very challenging events that we have in our life. And those experiences might be very difficult for people, but in spite of that, many people react to such circumstances with a flood of strong emotions and a sense of uncertainty. But still, people generally adapt well over time. This is one of the things that made the humankind to continue and to have the civilizations and the evolution of many of the things that we have in our life, because we have the ability to adapt. If we're not we're not able to adapt, this will be very difficult for us to continue our life. And what we see is that we are adapting, we are changing the environment that we have, and we still we adapt well over time. And even if we have any life challenging or difficult situation, still we can adapt to this. So what enable us to do so? This is what we say. It involves resilience, and resilience is a process that is an ongoing one, and it requires time and effort and engage people in taking a number of steps so that we can build resilience. So resilience, I believe that it's something that we start to have since early childhood, and this can be built easily when you're adapting and you're learning from your experiences. But still, even if you're not able to adapt well, you can do that when you are planning to do it. So not necessarily that all of us have this from the start, but it's a thing that we can develop even by some changes in our behaviors. And this is what we'll talk about in the coming slides. So resilience is the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or even significant sources of stress, uh, such as family and relationship problems, serious illnesses, and some difficult situations that might be there. Uh, but what does it mean? It means that you're bouncing back to your normal life from those difficult experiences. And research shows that resilience is ordinary. It's not an extraordinary thing. That, as I told you from the beginning, that we start to do that through our life. And commonly, we demonstrate resilience. And of course, you know, it's not only the things that happened in 9/11 in the states, or you know that we have lots of struggles and lots of stressors in the region and all over the world. There are lots of difficulties that people are facing, and it might be something that not involving only the person himself, but might involve the whole country. But still, people can build their own life again, rebuild it, and and this is what we consider as resilience. So being resilient doesn't mean that a person doesn't experience difficulty or distress. You might have difficulty or distress, but still you can be back to your normal life and adapt well, and this is resilience. Emotional pain and sadness are common in people who are having some great suffering because of trauma or losses in their lives, but still they can uh, uh, overcome this and go through their lives. So the road to resilience is likely to involve considerable emotional distress, but we can overcome this emotional distress. It's not a trait that we have in our life or in our personality. Uh, this means that not all the people might have the ability to be resilient as part of their personality. Some people might not have this ability, but still they can develop that by changing their behaviors, thoughts, and action. And these are easy to be learned, or I'm not saying that that's easy. It's still, it needs learning and developing these skills. It might take efforts, but it's feasible. So people might have it when they plan to do that. And we'll talk about how to develop those things. There are some factors in resilience, and those factors, um, according to studies, are one of the most important factors in resilience is having caring and supportive relationships. Uh, these supportive relationships or caring attitude might not only be within the family, it might be in the family, might be your colleagues, your friends, uh, and those relationships that create love and trust provide role models and offer encouragement and reassurance that help a person to develop resilience. Um, some other factors are associated with resilience, including capacity to make realistic plans and take steps to carry them out. A positive view of yourself and confidence in your strengths and abilities. Skills in communication and problem solving. The capacity to manage strong feelings and impulses. Those are the factors that are helping in resilience. And later on we'll speak how to develop some of those abilities. So there are some strategies for building resilience, and developing resilience is it's a personal journey. it's difficult that somebody will feed you with this resilience. You have to have something uh, from your side and some other help from other people around you, including many resources that we'll speak about. So uh, we are not all the same in our reactions to stressful events. And the approach that we are going to have to build the resilience uh, doesn't mean that it will work for one fits all. It differs from one to another. And we have different strategies. People might use different strategies to build their own resilience. This depends on how you're thinking about this and how you're going to uh, find the way that you uh, will have so that this will be fitting for you. Because there are some variations in each of one of us. The cultural differences might be one of the things reflecting you is the way you're dealing with stressful events. A person's culture might have an impact on in how he or she communicates his feelings and how to deal with traumas or the difficult time. Uh, for example, whether and how a person connects with significant others, including, for example, the extended family members and the community resources. This differs from one culture to another. Uh, but with growing cultural diversity, when you have more resources, the public has greater access to a number of different approaches to build their own resilience. So those cultural uh, differences that you might have and the multicultural country like in Emirates, this might be a good thing for people to develop new strategies according to those various cultures that might help them in developing their own resilience. There are lots of ways. It's not only 10 ways to build resilience, but still we have some other things, but we'll highlight those ways to help you building your own resilience. Making connections. This is one of the things that will help you when you have good relationships with close family members, friends, or others. These are very important things that we are in need for. Accepting help and support from those who care for you and will how to listen to you and strengthen your resilience. Some people find that being active in civic groups or faith-based organizations or other local groups provide social support and can help with reclaiming hope. Assisting others in their time of need also can be very beneficial. So even if you're suffering, still you can help others who are suffering so that both of you will get help. So connections are very important, social connections, finding close friends, finding family members, colleagues in your work, in your community, and your, let's say, religious place that you're going to, not necessarily to the masjid. It might be masjid, church, or any religious place that you might have friends in your same culture. That might be very helpful. Making connections is very helpful. Also avoiding seeing crisis, and if you're affected by seeing the crisis, this might be helpful in some occasions. You cannot change the fact that highly stressful events might happen, but still you can change how you interpret and respond to those events. If we're checking every day the very stressful events and we're looking for that and looking to the bad side of it, this might be very stressful. But if we're looking for the future and how that future will be better than the situation that we have if we are having a very stressful event. Now, we're quite sure that whatever the event is, the time will resolve it. It's just a matter of time, and it's just a matter of how to collect your strength and to have the help of others so that you can overcome this. And you need to look at any smart way in which you might feel better. So it differs. For example, myself, whenever I feel stressed or anxious or sad because of one situation, I might hear some song or hear verses of Quran or read Quran or whatever. This might be very helpful for us. So you will find some way that will help you overcome those feelings. Also accept that the change is a part of living. The change is a must in our life. We'll never stay the same all through our life. It's every day will we have different things. We are different every day than the day before. The experience that we have in our life is every day you'll have new experience, and accepting that the change is the thing that is the most constant thing in our life, that everything is changing. This will give us the hope that things will be even better. Uh, and move toward your goals and develop some realistic goals. Uh, we need to have a very small accomplishment that might be very helpful, and you build on this. Always I'm encouraging our colleagues and our friends and our patients that when you're planning for something, you need to put a goal that uh, might be very tiny, but it will give you the feeling of success. So whenever you are successful, you will have more confidence, and whenever you have more confidence, you will build on these successes. So you might have a very tiny goal that will be successful in being done. And after that, this will enable you to move toward your goals. So you have one goal and another goal and so on. And whenever you're having those goals and you accomplish them, then you will have more confidence in your yourself and your that you're going to overcome all the situations that might happen. And you need to take decisive actions. It's not just saying I'll go and start doing something and then you stop in this. No, you need to work on it. Uh, we'll put a plan and we'll start to do it. Maybe the plan is very uh, um, tiny or a small goal, but or even might be trivial, but you need to put things and then you take action on it. Not just to take the decisions, but without action. So we have to have both things. Taking decisive actions rather than detaching completely from problems and stresses and wishing they would just go away is not the solution. We need, in many situations, to have some actions and to move forward to the stressful event that might be very difficult for us, but going away from it totally might be even uh, more worse than facing it. So you will take decisive actions. You will face the stressors, but as we said, it's just both very small goals and build on your successes. And in many occasions, people might not know their own strengths. They might not be able to think uh, that I can do that. So you need to take time and take the chance to discover yourself. Um maybe in some situation you might before facing that situation you will say, I'm not able to do that, and it will never be possible that I overcome this. And remember, in your life, in many situations, you might have those ideas. Even going to exams, you'll before exam you'll say, "No, I'll never succeed. This is very difficult. It's how I'm going to have all those things in my mind, and I'll answer this." And what happens? You go and you face the problem and you succeed. So you need to look back at your past time, and you need to know that you can overcome those things, and you need to know your qualities and your strengths that you have. And many people who have experienced tragedies and hardships have reported better relationships and greater sense of personal stress, even while feeling vulnerable. Still, their increased sense of self-worth or more developed spirituality and heightened appreciation for life, all these things you might discover in yourself while facing those problems. And even if you're having those difficult times, still you have the strength that will help you to overcome those difficult times. So you have to have a positive sense of your ability to adapt for those situations. Also, you need to be sure that your abilities uh, and your qualities will be very helpful. You need to trust yourself and your instincts that will help you to overcome those situations, and that will help you to develop or build resilience. Uh, Also, we need to put these situations in its actual perspective, so that even when we are facing very painful events, we need to consider that the stressful situation, um, if we look broader and keep long-term perspective, we will avoid blowing the event out of the proportion. If I'm looking for the situation that might be very difficult, yes, it's difficult, but still, this is not that difficult. It will be over. So we need to put it in its situation. For example, if we're talking about some situation there is some sort of a virus, and this virus is expanding, but the sure thing that this will vanish, this will disappear within a certain period of time, and it will not be harmful if we're taking the proper measures. So this is not that drastic or that difficult to face. Yeah, there are lots of things that might be we hear and we see that are making us very afraid. But if we look at in the actual perspective, we'll find that this is a situation that will uh, go over and we'll be back to our normal life after some time. Even more difficult situations that happened before, and still the people are living and everything is fine. So it's a matter that we need to look about things in their actual perspective. Also, maintaining a hopeful outlook. Optimistic outlook is enable you to expect that good things will happen in your life. So being hopeful and optimistic very helpful in developing your resilience. Also, you need to take care of yourself. Of course, all of us or many of us are looking for others more than themselves, and maybe they are not caring for from themselves that much. Uh, but if you need to help others, you need to pay attention to yourself, and you see what are the needs that you have and your feeling, and you need to engage in activities that you enjoy and find relaxing. So taking these activities exercise regularly, take care of yourself, help you to help others, and to keep your mind and your body primed to deal with situations and that require resilience. So you need to take care of yourself so that you can help others. Uh, okay. Some other ways that might be helpful in strengthening your resilience may be writing. Some people might write about their deepest thoughts and feelings uh, related to trauma or to other stressful events, and this might be helpful. Of course, meditation and spiritual practices help people to build the connections and restore hope. Excuse me. So the key is to identify the ways that you are likely to work well for you as part of your own personal strategy for fostering resilience. So you need to discover other things that might be helpful for you. It's not only those things. Those are some, let's say, brainstorming things that might be helpful for you to know, to discover yourself. Those things might be helpful for you to help others, but still you might develop your own strategies. And also you can learn from your past experience that as I mentioned earlier. So you might ask yourself some questions that about your past experience and how the resources that you have in your personal strengths can help you learn about what strategies you for building resilience might work for you. Uh, so you might ask your those questions to yourself, and you will discover many things in you that you might not take care that you have it before. Like, okay, what kinds of events have been most stressful for me? How have those events typically affected me? Have I found it helpful to think of important people in my life when I'm distressed? To whom have I reached out for support in working through a traumatic or stressful experience? What I have learned about myself and my interactions with others during difficult times. Have it been helpful for me to assist someone else going through a similar experience? Have I been able to overcome obstacles, and if so, how did I do so? So those are some questions that you might ask yourself, and you'll find out lots of those things that are helpful for you. You have previous stressful events. Who are the people that um, might help you, or the people that you might help them? Uh, what did you learn from your interactions with others during the difficult time? All these things are very helpful when you're brainstorming what are the resources that you have and the experience that you have before uh, that supported you and let you overcome difficult situations. And when you find out your previous experiences, you might have a more clear idea about the things that you can develop to overcome the current situation. Also, we need to stay flexible. Flexibility is very important. Uh, so, resilience is involving maintaining flexibility, balancing your life as you deal with stressful events. Uh, this happens in several ways, letting yourself experience strong emotions and also realizing when you may need to avoid experiencing them at times in order to continue functioning. So even if you have such strong emotions, this doesn't mean that you'll have it all the time. And whenever you're giving yourself a chance to experience those emotions. This means that you can now develop this, but still you can control yourself at another situation. Maybe uh, you're feeling those emotions when you're alone or with your loved ones or the trusted ones, but sometimes you might not show this while you are helping others. So you need to let yourself experience those emotions if you have it. If you don't have, don't ask for it. If you don't have those strong emotions, that's okay. But if you have it, give yourself a chance to experience it, and then you know when exactly you will avoid to show them. Um, Also, to step forward and take action to deal with your problems and meet the demands of daily living. This is very important. Okay, we will not stop in. Okay, there is some situation that's very difficult, and this situation might be, if we take an example of uh, the current situation, this doesn't mean that you're stay all the time in your home not doing anything. You need to go outside. You need to do your daily living. You need to work, uh, go to your work if this is needed, and you need to do your daily living demand. But you will take care of the precautions that you need to to, uh, to take care of while going out, and then you will step back to rest and re-energize yourself. This is the way. You need to take actions to deal with your problems, not to step away from it. Spending time with loved ones is very important to gain support and encouragement, and to give more strength to yourself. Relying on others and also relying on yourself. These are very helpful. So being flexible uh, means that you'll let the strong emotions to appear, but you know when to not to show it. Taking actions of your daily living, and you know when you step back and take rest and re-energize yourself. Spend time with loved ones, gain support and encouragement, and do the same to them. You're supporting them and encourage them. You'll rely on others, but you need to rely also on yourself and to help others as well. Okay, so if we're talking about where should we look for help, of course, getting help when you need it is a crucial part in building your resilience. Of course, we need our family members and friends and people uh, might be very helpful to you, but sometimes you might need more resources like self-help and support groups, like community groups. Uh, these community groups might be helpful for people struggling with hardships and uh, difficult time. By sharing information, ideas, and emotions, uh, the group participants can assist one another and find comfort in knowing that they are not alone in experiencing difficulties. So when you find other people who are having difficulties, um, this means that those people could overcome this difficulty, and then also I'll do the same. I'll be able to overcome those difficulties. Uh, Also, some people might be uh, uh, more interested in reading books or a publication, and they have, especially for those people who were able to overcome adverse situations. Uh, so these stories might be motivating you and others to that you will be able to overcome difficult time as those people did. There are lots of online resources that might be helpful, and one of those resources actually. Uh, Thanks for the group here and for Dr. Nahida and our colleagues. They are offering a very valuable support for صحة employees. And as you see, this is one of the very important links that you might refer to. You have uh, a call, a phone or helpline from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. from Sunday to Thursday. And this is very helpful. And you will have lots of colleagues who are supporting you. And thanks for the team here and Dr. Naheda for having such a wonderful and very, actually, it's now for many months, and it's working. And whenever you call people, you'll find people helping you, and this will be very helpful for you to overcome any stressful events that might face. And even they might guide you to see some mental health professional. A licensed mental health professional, such as a psychologist, or in some situation might be if you need some more intervention, like having medication or something like this, might be a psychiatrist. But mostly you need psychologists that will help you to develop an appropriate strategy for moving forward. It's important to get professional help if you feel like you are unable to function or perform basic activities of daily living as a result of traumatic or stressful life experience. Some other people might have more comfortable with what different style of interaction. Some people might find it helpful to speak over the phone to the helpline. Some other people might find it more helpful for them to come and see the health professional in a face-to-face situation. So this differs according to your need and your idea. So to summarize to you, we need to continue on our journey. We need to have hope that we are going to overcome the situation. And you might imagine that you're in a river, and in the river, you're having you're in a boat or something like this, but in the river you might find rapids, turns, slow water, shallows. As in life, the changes that you experience affect you differently along the way. And traveling the river, it helps to have knowledge about it. So if you know that this is a rapid river or a slow river, or it has lots of shallows or other things, very helpful for you that you can deal with this. Also, if you have past experience or you read about past experience and dealing with it, this will be very helpful. Your journey should be guided by a plan, a strategy that you consider likely to work well with for you. Perseverance and trust in your ability to work your way around borders and other obstacles are important. You can gain courage and insight by navigating your way through those things. Trusted companions are very helpful in your journey. This can be especially helpful for dealing with rapids, upstreams, currents, and other difficult stretches of the river or of the life. During your journey in the river, you might climb out to rest alongside the river, but at the end, you need to go back to your journey and you need to get back in the raft so that you complete your journey and going back to your normal life. And this is all about resilience. We need to know that at the end we'll be successful. We need to be more flexible, and we need to trust that we are able to do that. And we need to trust that uh, people around us will be helping us, but still we can help other people. Be confident, be sure that all of these situations will go to normal life, and we are going to be successful in managing also those situations. And actually, this for sure or file was prepared by the American Psychological Association, and this is the people who worked on this very valuable for sure. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mehta. That was a very insightful and thoughtful presentation. I especially liked your closing remarks about the journey through the river. I do not have any questions posted, and I invite all the participants to feel free to post your questions in the chat section or in the Q&A. In the meantime, Dr. Mehta, I would like to ask a question for myself. We've been seeing a lot of calls coming in for people who are coming out of the pandemic and the aftermath of the crises, and they feel less appreciated. And their resilience and their commitment that they showed through this period of crisis is wearing thin now, that people don't give them the credit or validate or thank them for what they've done. So a lot of them express this dismay and this discouragement from the response they have gotten from their be it superiors or others. So can you suggest to us how we sustain the resilience despite of not having maybe the encouragement and the support that we would otherwise seek?
Yeah, in the best situation, of course, that all of us will be very helpful for each other, and maybe in that difficult time, the people who are in higher situation might be more stressed by broader things that we do. So maybe they look at this as what are you doing? This is not that much as we see for others. But we need to know that each one of us is different, and whatever I feel uh, dramatic for myself, um, even if it is very tiny thing that other people might not feel that important, yet it's difficult for me. So we need to respect each other's feeling, because you don't know what are the background for such a person who is developing this difficult time. We, as you know, Dr. Naida, all of us, we have life experiences, and based on our life experiences might give us some uh, feelings in our background or in our unconscious mind. And whenever you're facing similar situation, even if that situation is very tiny for some other people, still you're feeling difficulty in facing this. So we need ourselves to understand that we are, all of us who are different. We need to respect each other's feelings, and we need to understand that whenever somebody is suffering, he is suffering, and we need to acknowledge that and to appreciate that feeling that he has and to support him. So even if people are looking at me that this is not that much difficult, uh, I need to understand that, okay, they might be feeling that because they didn't face the same situation. But also, I understand that, yeah, it is difficult for me, and they cannot understand me that much. But I'll learn from this that I'll not underestimate others' feelings. I'll understand that those the other people who are suffering are really suffering, and I'm going to support them. And I'll understand that people might not be that helpful in some situation because you didn't face similar situation. And I need to be, as we mentioned, more flexible. Understand that even if people are not supporting, I can help myself. I can build my own flexibility, and I can understand that in spite of this difficult time that I'm facing, I'm sure that I'm going through that. And those people who underestimate my feelings, maybe when they have the similar situation, they will understand that that was not a good attitude to be taken. So if the other people around you didn't help you to overcome what you're feeling, you can build on yourself, or you can have your um, more nearer person or your family member or your colleague to support you in this situation. And the encouragement that you'll have is that you're going to overcome this, even if those people think that you're facing some situations that you'll not be able to overcome, or they cannot understand your feeling. You can overcome this, and you'll be successful. So you need to trust yourself and not to wait for others to give you this trust or to help you or to encourage you. As we mentioned, we work on ourselves and on others. And myself, if I find this uh, underestimated attitude, what I'm going to do, I'll go and help others. And this gives me more trust to my that I am helpful for others, and I can overcome the situations that I have.
Thank you, Dr. Madhav. That was a very thoughtful message, and I would remember, I mean, definitely a wise idea to rechannel our energy and to build our resilience. We have a few questions, a couple of them actually. One in the line, the first one here is, what can we do if someone can't sleep for more than 3 days? Can he use medications for sleeping, or for how long can he use it? Um,
Yeah.
This was one of the questions posted, and there's more I can tell you.
Okay, so it depends on the sleep. Is it difficult to sleep at night, or is it difficult to sleep all the day? So that because some people might say I cannot sleep at night, but still they are sleeping in other times. Uh, so the total number of hours per day, is it less? Is it difficult to start your sleep? Is it difficult to continue your sleep? Uh, all those questions need to be answered. For example, if I have an inverted sleep rhythm, and this might happen because of, you know, going to this working from home situation, and sometimes not working might disturb our sleep cycle. So if it is like this, we need to adjust our sleep cycle once again. And this will be gradually increasing our, for example, if somebody is sleeping in the morning time and not sleeping at night, or sleeping in the afternoon and not sleeping at night, we need to stop sleeping in the morning time or the afternoon uh, for a few days, and then your adjusted life sleep cycle will be better. Sometime when might need help of some medications that might help you to start sleeping at ordinary time. So some of the medications that are available over counter, like melatonin, this might be helpful for some people, and it will not be difficult to get, and you need to see not need to see a psychiatrist to have it, and it will not develop any uh, dependence or side effects. So this might be helpful if your sleep cycle is not proper, or because you have some anxious thoughts that you have, or because of the, not be doing activities. All these things might be helpful for you. But the sleep hygiene is very important. When you're going to sleep, at the time of uh, sleep, you need to, as far as you have difficulty to initiate sleep, you need to sleep in a place that's quiet. There is no light in it. There is no music. You don't need to have a TV on in your room, not listening to music while going to sleep, or not taking your mobile while sleeping, and then you start to see that, so your sleep will not be that much. You will go to bed whenever you're feeling that you need to sleep. And if you give yourself a chance of 10 to 15 minutes or up to 20 minutes, if you're not sleeping, you can go out of the bed and read some boring thing, but don't watch TV, don't catch your mobile, um, or listen to some interesting thing, or see some interesting thing, because this might deprive you from sleeping. When you feel sleepy, then you go to bed. You need to have some warm bath at night before going to sleep. You might drink warm milk, or take some food that helps for you to sleep, like banana, like cheese, like salmon. These are helpful to initiate sleep in some people if we don't want to take medicines. If you're going to exercise or practice some exercise, it's better not to be after 6 p.m. And you avoid taking any, this Coca-Cola or Pepsi or something like this. You don't need to take it at night because this is stimulating. Coffee and tea, it's better not to be taken after 6 to 7 p.m. so that you can sleep. So sleep hygiene is very important, and this might be solving the problem. If after doing all these things still I'm not sleeping for many days, and I have some other symptoms like feeling anxious or depressed, or having a poor appetite, or having a very stressful situation, then you will need to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist later on to have diagnosis for what situations that sleep might be a sign for other, a symptom for another illness that you have. So we need to know what exactly you are suffering from, and you give you the needed management for that by psychotherapy, or with some psychotropic medication.
Thank you, Dr. Madhat. It was great to have all those insights on sleep hygiene being delivered. Just to add to what all Dr. Madhat says, one thing that I practice with my patients and I recommend highly is an app called CBTI. I stands for insomnia. So the CBTI coach, so that's the name of the app, is quite helpful. And again, if you continue to persistently have sleep problems, you should probably see a sleep specialist and have a sleep study done. Yeah, you'll be surprised the kinds of etiologies that are causing you impairments in sleep. Moving on to our next question, we have a question from one of our colleagues who's asking about relationships with family members. Sometimes parents stress you out and they are not willing to listen to how you feel, and they find you speaking and having your boundaries as disrespectful. How can we release our emotions, such as anger, without hurting others? I think this applies to most of us, especially when we are stressed out, and we're looking forward to Dr. Mehmet's wisdom on this question.
Sometimes, yeah, yeah, when we're stressed, might be angry or might express our emotions in a way that might be accepted by other people, and even some, if with parents, may be seen as this situation is not a good way to express your feelings, and you need to, they feel like as if you're not respecting them. For example, if you're stressed and you're starting to shout or be angry or to do some behaviors that are not accepted by your older ones, we need to, as I mentioned, we might be feeling very stressful, event, we might be angry, or we might be about to explode because of some situation. Sometimes, if you're experiencing this, might be difficult for others, or not only because they might feel it's a way of disrespect to them, but sometimes because they feel that, especially of parents, they might feel that if they are unable to help you, they might feel that it's very difficult for us to face such a situation. So, in as a defensive mechanism, might be uh, like reaction formation. Instead of feeling that I am unable to help you, I'll say the other thing. What are you doing? What is this? Why you are putting those pressures on us? So, and instead of doing this, we might try to rechannel our behaviors. So instead of feeling angry or shouting or hitting things or breaking things, it's better to write a note about what we are feeling. Even if I feel some stressful situation with some of my family members, I can write this down to myself and then cut this paper, because this might be a bad thing to that my family members read this thing, one part of it. But the other thing is that cutting this means that those feelings shouldn't continue, and this anger I can overcome it. So doing this in a way, or you can, as I'm saying, rechannel this, like doing some sports activity, listening to music, uh, taking a shower, or praying. All these things might help you to rechannel your anger, or redirect your anger, or your very explosive feelings into a lesser way, or to more productive way. Or this might be very helpful for you, that I can overcome all those feelings, and it will be very helpful for you to deal with others. Because if I'm such a person who is always angry, or uh, over complaining, by time some people who are near to me might just stop helping me, because all the time you're angry, or all the time you're shouting at us. So it's better to avoid him. So if we can redirect our bad feelings, or feeling of anger, or this explosive emotions, it will be better for us to overcome it, and better for us to keep our relations with people who around us.
Thank you, Dr. Madhat. That is definitely a challenging thing that we all come across, especially during this times of crises, and we are having a lot of work to be addressed. And we go home, and the adults, and not just the children, are expecting more from us and not able to appreciate our boundaries. So yeah, that is something all of us can relate to. And thank you so much for your response and your insight on how to deal with it. I would just add that we need to make sure that we take care of ourselves as much as we can. If we are not mentally replenishing ourselves, or not putting our well-being as our priority, then we won't have the fuel or the energy to even redirect ourselves, or to invest our patience into this kind of dynamics. So make sure that you pay attention to your own self-care, your own boundaries, your well-being to the maximum. So you are available for your dependent people as much as you can in a more patient and loving manner. I do not see any more questions. There were a few hand raises. If you can please kindly post your question, that would help me. I cannot turn on the mics for the attendees, so the best way to communicate would be the Q&A and the chat. I've had a lot of positive feedback. Several private messages are coming in, thanking Dr. Mehmet for the amazing presentation and lovely interactions that you've had with the audience. So thank you again. I'm just conveying the messages from the audience to Dr. Mehmet. Somebody asked about the attendance certificates. I believe the webinar itself, the platform itself, sends you an email back to you for having taken part in this. So you can probably use that if you need to show that you are attending. We do not have certificates distribution arranged, because this was not intended as an academic or an educational activity. It was more of a well-being and self-care promotion activity. So unfortunately, no CME hours have been applied or certificates being printed for this. Apologize for that. Please continue to participate in our webinars. Every week we try to bring to you different speakers from different backgrounds with different topics as much as we can. And it has been an amazing experience reaching out to so many of you through the helpline, through the webinars, and even to the groups that we conducted in different places. If you have any specific requests for staff wellness, staff well-being, and care, and you want to reach out to us, please feel free to write to us. My email is nnahmed, that is ahmed@seha.ae, and we're more than happy to take your requests and see how we can help you better. Remember, our motto has always been, let us care for you while you care for others. We are extremely grateful for each matter in clinical, non-clinical, or admin position. You've done an incredible job. You are the frontline heroes through the pandemic for all of us, and we are here for you. We can get past this together, inshallah. And thank you very much for your continued support. So if there's no more questions, I'd like to take everybody's leave. If you think of questions after the presentations, or people are listening to this talk in a recorded replay link, please feel free to write to us, Dr. Mehmet and me, or anybody from the SEHA Psychological Support Group Task Force team would be happy to address your questions and redirect them to Dr. Mehmet for his responses. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and thank you so much for participating.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Naheda, and thanks for all the team and for all attendees. And inshallah, more successful webinars to come. And thanks for all what you're doing. God bless you, and God save Emirates from any difficult situation. Thank you very much, and have a very happy weekend, inshallah.
Thank you. Fi aman Allah. Ma as-salam.
As-salam.